You are listening to the We Are Not Safe for Work podcast. Your hosts, Renee and Nadja, will dive into all the different reasons why some entrepreneurs become unemployable.
I feel like next time I should have my, standing desk or my desk in the standing position so I can jam out.
I was just thinking I need like disco lights in the background. I think that would be
like strobe lights.
yeah, I think that would be fun.
Oh, good times.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
would love to see disco lights in your background.
I think that would be interesting. I just literally this morning, as a romantic gesture for the wife, went and okay, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. So we have these lights that we shine up on the ceiling. What?
No, just the way that you're trying to explain it.
So we have these lights that shine. You know how those lights that like shine on people's houses at Christmas time? That will show the movement and stuff like that. So we have some of those, except they're for inside the house. And so at Christmas time, we shine them up on the ceiling because we have these really tall ceilings. And so we shine them up on the ceiling, and then it looks like snowflakes on the ceiling. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Andy, I don't understand this at all, but she works in a dark space. She wants all the lights out while she's working. She's obsessed with light, except when she's working. I mean, she has little lights and just so much light in her life, like wall lights and lamps and everything, except when she's working.
She wants in a dark cave.
Basically, she works in the media room a lot, and she mostly shuts the doors, and I'm just like, anyway. So I thought last night I was laying in bed. I woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep, and I was thinking about things. And I was like, I should bring in one of those snowflake lights for her because she has a little office set up in our bedroom, and then it's super dark in there.
Yeah.
And during the day, and which is ironic because at night she wants as much light as I will allow while we're sleeping. But anyway, so I went and got one of those snow lights and put it in the bedroom this morning for her and shined it over her workspace, over the desk, because we set up a desk in there.
Yeah.
And she's so thrilled. She's so happy.
Oh,
hold on.
Fun.
She just said
she still
What's
has
that, baby? Oh, she said, I'm easy. I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. When we were deciding to go live, you said that you were going to log out of Kumo, and that triggered something for me. Speaking of Andy, because when you were here the other day, we never got upstairs, so you didn't see my new workspace setup. But Andy calls it my Kumo cubicle. Because I basically made myself this little decorated cubicle upstairs, and she keeps calling it my Kumo workspace.
Oh, and for those of you who don't know what Kumo is a fantastic tool for remote teams.
Yes,
because it's
so
basically a virtual office space. Yeah, it's fantastic. And the great thing about it is you have your own spaces. So each room, you can hear the conversation that's going on in the room when you're in it. If you're not in the room, you can see that, maybe two people are having a conversation, but you don't know what they're talking about. So it gives a really great replacement to like an in-person office setup. Like I love it because I can see fantastic when my team members are working.
Yeah, you can like shut your office door and nobody can come in and have to knock. They can knock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or if the door's open, then people can freely come in, and you can share your screen. Indeed, I use it all the time for screen shares. So we'll have meetings, and we'll even be sitting in the same space. Like, I don't know if you can see, but back here is she has an upstairs workstation. Sometimes she'll sit there. We'll mute our mics, but we'll both be in Kumo so that we can share screens and just talking back and forth.
Yeah.
We use it all the time for all kinds of stuff like that. Team meetings, things like that.
Yeah.
But also, the reason that
It's
she
great.
calls this the Kumo space, my Kumo space, is because you can decorate it.
Yes.
Kumo
Okay, that's
space,
my
you can decorate.
favorite thing about Kumo. We have like the most insane office setup because I was like, our office should have a forest, you know?
Right?
Like,
Yes.
if you want to work in like a green space forest area, yeah, we have a forest. We change the decoration based on the season. So during
Yeah,
Halloween,
seasons.
we had like all the Halloween
Because
stuff.
they have ghosts that'll ooh when you walk
Yeah.
by.
Oh, it's so much fun. No, it's
We
great
have
because it
a
brings,
beach. We have a beach room.
yes, we have a beach room too. We have
Yeah.
a pool that have otters swimming back and forth
I
across the
love
pool.
that. I love it so much. It is so fun. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. So we were also talking because I've had a rough week. We'll get into some of that in a minute, or we can. It's about blogging. And also I hit my head, which is why we didn't record on Monday.
Oh, yeah. How's your head feeling?
It's funny. It's
Bubble
still,
girl, we need to put you in a bubble.
I know. It's still sort of the touch, but it's not, I'm sure you can't see it, but it's got a little dent. Um,
Oh no.
I whacked it good, man. But anyway,
What did
we
you
can come
put
back
it
to.
on?
Okay, we'll
Okay.
talk about it. And let's not forget
Yeah.
your lance thing. But
Okay.
so I have this hat. I don't have it up here, but it's my I think I have it on in a lot of my profile pictures actually. I call it my Grand Canyon hat because we literally
Oh,
bought it at the Grand Canyon.
uh-huh.
And so it has this cute white brim it's it comes out pretty far. It's probably like this deep of a brim. And I have to flip it up so I can see real good, but I have it on to block the sun and all
Yeah.
that thing. All the things. And I had the dogs and I was like, Betty White is so curious. And there's this little playground that we walk around all the time. But normally there's a lot of kids there, and Betty White loves kids. But there wasn't any kids. So I said, I'll
Mhm.
take Betty White to the playground area. So it's for small kids, but it has this little walk where you can walk under things, and it's really cute.
Mhm.
But it has these sections, and I thought I had docked enough so that I avoided the monkey bar, and I did not because it was two tiered, but I couldn't see it because of my hat brim. And I just nailed it
Oh.
because I was walking because all of a sudden Betty got so excited. So I was kind of jogging with Betty and I just literally ran into it.
And that's all like metal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't bad enough to even have any symptoms of a concussion or anything like that,
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
funny thing is, Andy had walked over to throw away some dog poo. So she'd gone one way and I went this way to go there. So she didn't even know where I was because I was kind of under the thing. And she's like, if I had come back and you were just laying on the ground, she's like, I would have had no idea what the hell happened to you. And I would
Right.
have just
Oh
been
my
so
God.
confused. Yeah. Um,
Crazy.
so it was smart and pretty good. And so that was my Monday. You were running late, but not that late. But then I hit my head and I was like, I think I need a moment. So we had to wait till today to record.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard. And that was strange. Yeah, it happened.
Have you been icing it or anything? Like you haven't
It
had
wasn't
any,
that
does it hurt
bad.
right now?
No, no,
Okay.
it hurts if I touch it now. Before it was like hurting all around my eye and everything. Um,
Yeah, that's not good.
yeah, I know, but it was very superficial.
Okay.
Yeah, but hurt nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Monday, and that kind of started my week, honestly. Because then I turned around from that,
Yeah.
and my knee gave out, and I was like, "What the hell?" Um,
Right. Yeah.
I know. So anyway,
Man.
but we were talking because Lance is
But
home this week, and so you were
he
saying,
is. He's home this week.
yeah,
It's very exciting. Well, because he's been so busy with work. Like, I think we worked it out to where he had worked 50 consecutive days, like
my
just
God,
no days off.
really?
Mm-hmm. And, you know, we were basically like passing ships.
Yeah, I bet.
He'd get home late and then he'd leave early kind of thing. And then the past week, 2 weeks, we've just been like I went out of town, and then when I got back, he left to go out of town, and then while he was out of town, I went out of town again. So
My gosh, yeah.
yeah, so it's been crazy, but it was funny because I was telling you that since he's been home, it has been great, like a great help, and you were thinking that I was going to say a distraction.
I thought you were going to say distraction. Well, because you guys haven't spent a lot of time together. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's been a great help because, like I said, I've been able to actually focus on the things that I need to get done. Like instead of me basically jumping from one kid activity to another and then going back to the first kid's activity to pick her up and then pick up the other, you know, because that's how my life has been. Um, I've been leaning heavily on my village. Like I am so fortunate that I have friends and family close by that are available to help.
Yeah.
When I get into when I get into situations where the kids' activities start at the same time, but they're in like two very opposite places in the city.
Oh my. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I've had to recruit, you know, friends and family to be like, hey, when I go drop off Lily somewhere, can I drop off Allie at your house and then I'll pick her up, or you take her to this activity and then I can pick her up from there. You just there's been a lot of
How
that.
how far in advance, because that's a lot, you know? And so like how far in advance do you know when there's going to be situations where Lance is traveling and you're traveling and you got to coordinate those kind of things?
So
Like how
my
much
trap
planning goes into all of this?
A lot. So a lot of pre-planning. Like typically ideally I have set the like the transportation situation if there's some sort of conflict or whatever. I've already set that up at least 3 weeks
Yeah.
before it comes up.
My
And then
God.
that way I know for sure, like this person has committed and said, yes, they can do it. But I can also plan for a backup in the event that they end up getting busy or forget, you know, something. Then I
Sure.
have a backup because I love me some contingency plans. So I'm a backup planner.
Yeah. It's just, you know, your kids are very fortunate because they do have a lot going on.
They do.
And you also have your business, and
Yep.
then Lance
Yep.
has his job. It's a
Yep.
lot. I think
It
about it. That's
is.
why, you know, like the other day I texted you and literally said, I just want to check in on your mental health.
And
Um,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I was very confused at first though, because I was like, did I say something that makes her
no,
concerned?
no, it was just that I just don't think we ask each other those. I think
That's true.
everybody kind of goes around the subject, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot you and I talk about that we don't talk about here. Nothing
Hmm.
personal life, just world event stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we do talk about our personal lives, but we talk about that a lot here. But you know what I mean?
It's
There's just
true.
a lot going on. And I knew you'd been very busy. I knew Lance had been out, and then Lance hurt himself,
Yeah.
and then Lance hurt
Gosh,
himself.
yeah.
And because he
Twice.
hurt his ankle. Right, exactly. And then while you were here, he was like, hey, I hurt my calf. And
Hmm. And he had that bruise that
yeah.
was, and he had no idea how he did it.
Did he have to infuse for that?
No, he didn't have to infuse for
Okay.
that, but the bruise was pretty gnarly. It was quite large. It was basically the entire like side of his calf, and it was all like green and yellow. And I was like, that doesn't look great.
Yeah,
He goes,
no.
it hurts here. And then where he pressed, you know, I was like, you can feel a bump, like a hard
Oh
knot
yeah.
underneath,
Yeah.
and it's just like,
Oh yeah, I'm
so
sure.
yeah,
So I was just like, you know, I feel like we don't ask. I feel like we all ask each other, "How you doing?" But I don't know sometimes if we ask direct enough questions. And I'm working on that. And I
yeah.
think
No,
people are
and
also
like I said,
finding
I
it weird.
appreciate. Yeah, no, I appreciate the direct question, but again, you know, I my first thought was, did I say something that made her concerned about my mental well-being?
No.
Because that was not my intent.
Yeah, no, not in particular, but
Yeah.
just checking in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so this means Lance is home and you've been getting a lot done.
Yes, yes.
What have you been getting done?
Well, I've been able to catch up on a lot of work because when he's not around, my majority of my time is spent chauffeuring my kids around. So, it's a lot of driving, a
Mhm.
lot of being in the car. And yes, I can bring my laptop with me, and whenever we get to where we need to go, I can sit there and get my work done. But, like 30 minutes to get somewhere, 30 minutes to get back, 45 minutes, an hour, like that adds up.
How
And then
many
I end
hours a
up,
week do you spend in the car? Have you been tracking that? Is there a way to
no, I
track
have
that?
not. I have not. I
Oh,
wonder if Google Maps will tell me.
that would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because, I bow down to my AI and technology overlords, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure because I have a Google Pixel phone, so it follows me everywhere because I never turned off the setting for it because I'm like, it's fine. Like it's kind of fun every now and then to look back on, oh, here are all the places that I went, or here's where I drove and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But let's look at my timeline. Let's see here. Because I think it tells you like total. Oh, timeline is no longer available on web browsers. It's only available on the Google Maps app. Okay, so let me look at my phone. I know this is so thrilling to everyone. I'm sure
Well,
everyone's
it's
like,
really interesting because I just asked a question. I had no idea if there was even a way to do that, but it's interesting to know that there is.
there is. Okay, so yesterday. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it tells you distance and total times. So yesterday I was in the car for a total of 5 hours, 23 minutes.
Holy shit.
Um, on
I hope it's okay that I
Tuesday,
said that.
yeah, Tuesday was 14 minutes. So Tuesday was a very low
I see.
driving.
Where did you go
Okay.
yesterday that you were in the car for 5 hours? You could have come here. My gosh.
Yeah. Um, let's see. I had several appointments is what it was.
Okay.
So I
So
had
just
appointments,
errands.
like yep.
Yeah.
So like I said, 15, 30 minutes one way and then coming back, like that adds up
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
But also the kids they had Girl Scout meeting, and
Mm,
just that on its own, it's like 50 minutes to get from our house to where the meeting is one way.
yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Fascinating. Interesting stuff. So, we haven't talked about your work in a while. What are you up to with work?
What am I up to with work? I mean, work.
Yeah, I
I
know, but
am
what are the people tell the people what you're doing?
like projects wise,
Yeah.
let's see, there's the program management with one of my clients, which has been so much fun. That's the reason I come up to Dallas so frequently now. I just signed onto my third program. The third one starts in the fall. So
How
obviously
exciting.
they like me enough, and they like my work and trust me. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exciting.
It is exciting. And yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. And then with my other clients, so we have one client that I'm actually up to my eyeballs in spreadsheets for them because of the tariffs. So
Oh.
we have had to update the inventory costs multiple times
Oh.
now for what just one vendor.
How do you
Um,
keep up with that right now?
oh, it's been a mess. Like there have been times where it's kind of funny. Like so I will receive the Excel spreadsheets, right? I will receive the Excel spreadsheets that were sent to the client from the vendor
Okay.
saying these are the price increases. And we're like, great, okay, we've got this. We just need to update the price by matching the stock number, the inventory number. So we match their inventory with the inventory number that's in the system that they use, right? And then we say, okay, so here's the new price. And then we have to figure out like the new base cost and all that kind of stuff. But like all of that's a system though. Like we get the information, we plug it in, and then I send it back. But the thing that happens is when I send it back, sometimes they're like, oh, here's an additional change that we need to add. So I'm like, okay, let me add that change. And then I send the new file, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, now we have to add tariffs because depending on the company.
Wait, so those
some
increases are not the tariff
they are
reflection.
not the tariffs. No.
Oh my gosh.
The first round was just the annual price increase.
Okay.
That they do, right?
Yeah.
So we expect that. But then when the tariffs, now we're receiving updates for, well, these are the tariffs on top of, because some of them include it in their pricing and some it's additional. And it's not a flat percentage. Like there are some items that it's only a 12.5% tariff. There are some items it's a 22% tariff.
Well,
and
the tariff seems to change daily.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Well, and that's the thing. So when it comes to small businesses, and maybe this is our political thing right now, right?
Sure.
But when it comes to small businesses, like they're the ones that are highly affected by all of this because it's not like we can just it's not like here's a tariff, it's going to be implemented next month. Okay, great. So we have 3 weeks to do it. But now we have to figure out how to recalculate everything on our end, like on the business back end, so that it reflects the correct amounts on the effective date. And then when that effective date gets pushed, it's not like we can just be like, it's not like a toggle.
Yeah.
It's not a switch, right? Or at least it isn't for most platforms. And we're talking about like one of the spreadsheets that I received, there were over 2,000 items on that spreadsheet. So we're not talking about like just a couple of hundred items that we need to adjust. Like one of the ones I received, it was over 2,000 individual SKU numbers.
Oh.
So that's a lot to go through. And then again, like I said, not everything, the percentage of the tariffs is not across the board because those vendors, they manufacture their things from different places. So like if it's coming from Canada, it's one percentage. If it's coming from China, it's another percentage. If it's coming from another country, it's a different percentage, so we have to take that into account. And because it's not universal, it makes our job on the back end, like we're scrambling for stuff like that.
And in that case, just to be clear, and I think we can talk about this because we're not saying what the client is or even what the product is. What you're trying to calculate is how much you should raise the prices for the consumer.
Yeah.
In the end. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if it's a wholesale, like, there's no upcharge or anything like that. You still have to work these calculations to include the tariff. Actually, let me share with you something that I just read today, and I hope he doesn't mind that I share this, but he posted it on his Facebook. He posted on Facebook, and it's public. Well hang on.
Shareable.
Let me double check.
Public,
let me double check that he shared it publicly.
Yeah, make sure it's public.
But it was really interesting because this is okay, it is public. Okay. So this friend of mine or colleague, let's call him, so he has a brick and mortar store. It's a physical store. They sell physical products and they purchase items from, different vendors all around the world. So this is what he posted. And I just found this so interesting. On March 18, we received a bill for $1,235.45 from UPS for tariffs and related fees for a $2,700 order of goods from a French brand that was placed on January 22nd.
Okay, hold on.
The order
Hold
was
on.
shipped from
Hold on.
Paris.
Stop. Just hold on just a second. So, because you're saying
A
this
lot
out
of
loud.
information in one sentence.
Yeah, right. So $1,235 of tariffs on a $2,700 order.
Yes.
So that means it's 2,700 plus 1,300. Okay, keep going.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So they received the bill March 18. They placed the order January 22nd. So the order was placed at the beginning of the year, and then they received the bill just a month ago. Okay, the order was so it was placed on January 22nd. The order was shipped from Paris on February 3rd, and then it arrived in Chicago February 11. Okay. It was received and placed in our shop to sell on February 12th. So they received it February 12th. They had it since then, right?
Right.
So a little bit of backstory he includes in here is we have ordered from this brand since we opened our shop in 2023 and have never had issues with unexpected expenses before. With items designed in Paris and made in China, we've typically paid $100 to $200 in tariffs and import fees each time we've placed a large order. So this time it was very different.
Yeah.
The items they sold for 5 weeks. So they were selling them for 5 weeks before we knew their true cost. By the time we received the bill for tariffs and brokerage fees, which are non-negotiable and non-transparent fees that we are forced to pay the shipping companies, we had already sold many of these items at a loss due to their costs being impacted by these tariffs. So they didn't even have an opportunity to adjust the price because they had already been selling them. So
that makes no sense.
So he's
that
saying
makes no sense.
Yeah, this is the new reality of owning a small retail shop. And not only are the Trump tariffs illegal and poorly orchestrated, they will cause extreme harm to local independent shops.
My God.
So how can you run a business when you don't know the true cost of the goods you sell because you could be hit with a tariff bill at any moment?
I just can't believe it's retro like that. Well, there's a lot about this story that's awful, but I had no idea it was retro.
Yeah.
How can you be paying a tariff on something that you've already received?
Well, the tariff happens. So the tariff typically gets charged when it hits U.S. soil.
Right.
So like once it arrives, then they figure out, okay, so these are going to be the import fees. But just like everything else, they have to process these invoices and then send them out.
Unbelievable.
And so there's a delay, there's a gap.
I didn't realize there was a delay. I thought it got here, the tariffs were calculated and paid, and then you got your product. I didn't know it was delayed. That's horrible.
Because they come from the shipping companies. So that's the other thing. Like there are other charges that occur, but specifically for tariffs, because yeah, so tariffs and brokerage fees. So the brokerage fee, let me just make sure, because you know me, I got to get my definitions correct, right? Okay.
That is insane.
What is the brokerage fee on all trades? Okay, wait.
Jesus Christ. I had no idea.
Yeah. Okay, tariffs are taxes levied on imported goods by a government, typically as a percentage of the product's value. Brokerage fees, on the other hand, are charges paid to a third party for arranging the movement of goods across international borders, such as customs brokers who handle the paperwork and customs clearance. So the tariff is the tax on the goods, The brokerage fees are for the shipping companies that transport the goods. So there are two charges.
Okay. Wow.
And they're
I learned
separate.
something I didn't know. I don't know, but I don't know about this stuff. I mean, this is so out of my purview. I mean, I'm dealing with so much digital malarkey.
Yeah. So Tyler, I hope that you don't mind that I shared your story. It was public, so I assumed that it was okay to share it.
I want to share
because
that. I want to see that and share it everywhere.
I mean,
that's crazy.
I was going to say there are shares of the post that he posted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow.
And
I'm so sorry.
He posted receipts too. So he's got the receipts on here.
Did you share that on Facebook? Can I share that on Facebook?
Yeah, you can. That's crazy. Okay, yeah. Oh, this is great. So he's got like an infographic. Would you like me to share my screen just for a second so you can see it?
Yes.
Okay. So let me do it that way because it'll be much easier. Again, Tyler, you are now being shared. Okay. So do you see this?
Yes.
All right. So we got a $1,235 tariff bill on $2,700 worth of goods. So there's the custom duties was $863.81. Government charges other than the duties is $32. And then the brokerage charges is, what is that? $338 is what it looks like.
Yeah, that seems right.
Okay. So this is the breakdown, like they place the order. So there's the subtotal. There's fair market. Here's shipping. And then here's discount. So there's discounts, right? Okay, great. Fantastic. This is what we paid for the goods. The order ships from Paris, arrives in Chicago. They receive the order, price the products, and put them out to sell them.
Okay.
March 12, UPS issues an invoice for $1,235 for custom duties, fees, and brokerage charges. March 18, they receive the bill. March 23, payment is due before a 9.9% late payment fee start to accrue.
Hold on. Can you go back to, before you go forward, can you go back to the first one again for just a second? Okay.
This one?
I'm sorry, the second one. So this does not include that 1,200. Okay.
This was not. This was the order. The order that was placed. Yeah.
Okay. Go back.
And look, they've got like some discounts, right? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, you're like, all right, it's looking good. It's looking good. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
So let's take a look at the bill. These are the tariffs charged for importing items. These are additional government fees like merchandise processing fees and federal taxes. These are non-negotiable fees charged by us or charged to us by the shipping company for handling the customs paperwork, calculating duties, and facilitating the release of packages. There is an additional $25 fee when paying by check or a 2% processing fee when paying by credit card. And then unless it's paid, 9.9% interest begins accruing on the bill within 5 days of its receipt.
Okay, hold on. So let's go to number 4 for a second. For a little bit. Yeah, but I want to talk about number 4. So if you pay by check,
I have a story about that too, by the way.
If you pay by check, there's $25 fee. If you pay by credit card, there's a 2% fee. What do you got to do? Walk over and hand them a bunch of pennies? You get charged for making a payment no matter what? I mean, what other choices are there? There's check. Yeah. Or there's credit card. What else are you supposed to do?
Right. So another thing that happened to a different client of mine recently was I was going through the P&L and I was looking at some of the charges because I was like, some of these don't make sense. So I was looking at the bank statements and I noticed that there were these charges, these fees, bank fees, right? And the description of one of the bank fees was a cash deposit processing fee.
What?
And I was like, what do you mean? why is there a cash deposit processing fee? And I was thinking, well, this is a business account. Maybe this is what they do on a personal account. They charge extra fees on a personal account, but I feel like on a business account, why would they be charging a cash deposit processing fee? So I took a look because I was like, okay, well, let me look at the cash deposits. Again, this is a business, okay?
Yeah.
So obviously there's going to be some cash deposits. So I'm looking, and there was a cash deposit that it wasn't $10,000. It was just under $10,000. It was like 9,000 something, right?
Yeah.
And then on that deposit, there was a $45 charge for depositing the cash. And so I was like, Wells Fargo, what the
What?
are you doing? And so I looked it up because, okay, I called first. I called Wells Fargo Bank and I was like, hey, what is this charge? And the customer service rep is like, oh, are you an authorized user on this account? And I'm like, well, no, but my name isn't on the account, but it's a business account. It's for the company. I'm the operations manager, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, since your name is not on the account, we cannot release information or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's fine. All I'm asking about is the fee. And then they were like, well, since you're not named on this account, we cannot discuss the fees with you. And I'm like, okay, pretend I am a brand new customer.
Yes.
And I'm considering using you guys for my business account. And I see that there's a fee. Can you explain this cash deposit processing fee? And then again, the rep was like, I'm sorry, because you're not on the account. And I'm like, okay, but if I call the main customer service number and I have zero account and I'm asking the same question, would they explain it to me then? Because I feel like this is something we should know as consumers before we decide to give you our money,
Yeah.
And they were insistent. They were insistent that because I was not listed on the bank account, they couldn't discuss any of that with me.
Maddening.
So I hung up.
Just maddening. Okay.
It was maddening. So instead I Googled it. I looked it up on the Wells Fargo website. And yeah, so apparently any cash deposits over $5,000 in one billing cycle is subject to a 10 cents per $100. For every $100 over 5,000, they will charge you 10 cents for cash deposits.
What the hell? What the hell?
And I just did not understand. I'm like, how can you charge a business whose goal is to earn money?
How can you charge someone at all? If your goal is to hold my money for me, my money, right. I'm giving it to you, and you get to use that money for investments.
Yeah,
for whatever
that's
you
what I was
want
going to say. And the banks get to hold on to your money that you deposit, and they earn interest. Like they make money off of you putting money into your account. It made zero sense to me.
I am blown away by that.
But that's a new thing. Like that wasn't something that was there before. Let me look up when it was implemented.
What else is in this screenshot? Because I'm so disgusted right now.
Okay, so so $25 fee when paying by check, 2% processing fee when paying by credit card, right? Okay, the items in this order were pens, markers, staplers, pencils, sharpeners, and pouches.
First of all, I want to go to the store. That sounds amazing.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Oh my God, I know who this person is. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, thanks, Tyler, for letting us use you as an example. I'll make sure to tag you. Tariffs range from 4% to 53%. Again, going back to my other client, where the tariffs are it's not a percentage across the board. It depends on where it is originally sourced from. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. My headache is coming back.
You can't even say, oh, well, we're just going to do a flat 15% markup on all items. Like, you can't do that. Because each item
is different. I was already exhausted. I've not had the best week, and this is just.
I'm sorry for ruining your day.
Oh, it's okay. It was already ruined. Actually, no, that's not true at all. I'm kidding. I'm being
Yeah. No, it makes it more,
hyperbolic.
yeah, it makes it
Yeah.
more difficult because it's an additional thing for your brain to process and try to wrap around, like, what is the logic? Like, how did you get to this point? Right.
Right.
So yeah, they lost money on many of the items before, or by selling them before they knew what the actual cost was.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yep. So
I'm sharing this right now.
Mhm. Oh yeah, because you're friends with them too.
Well, I thought we were friends, but I think I'm just friends with his husband.
Oh, okay.
So I just sent him a friend request. But since it's public, I could see
Okay.
it.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Do you have anything else on that?
I just wanted to point out this last slide, how you can help. So if just this whole conversation is also infuriating you and making you concerned for your business owner friends, because, you know, please be concerned for your business owner friends, small business owners. Like, if your business owner friend isn't a billionaire, they are being hurt by this. So support your local shops. Understand that the price increases are inevitable. So yes, you can feel outraged that prices are going up, but at the same time, understand that for small business especially, they have no choice. They have no choice. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't expect your local shops to be able to absorb the cost of tariffs and related fees. Talk about tariffs with anyone who will listen and share our story. So there we go. See, I shared his story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I personally, so I'm going to stop my screen share. I personally have been making an effort to shop locally, and support like local stores over big retail chains. So like the bookstores that I shop at, I've been trying to shop at the local bookstores, like the locally owned, privately owned bookstores, um, instead of Barnes and Noble. Now, do I still shop at Barnes and Noble? Absolutely, I do. Because for convenience purposes, they're going to have, more likely than not, they're going to have what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
or like the immediacy, right? Especially if it's like things for the kids' school. So if they need it for school, then yeah, I'm not going to wait 2 or 3 days, or not even 2 or 3 days. I'm not going to wait 5 days to have something special ordered and then shipped to me, or special ordered and then I can go pick it up. Um, but if it's for leisure, like if it's just because I want this book, then yeah, I'll support my local bookstore and I'll order it through them and wait. Um, so it's a balancing game of who do I want to support, and I'm supporting them with my money, and then how quickly do I need it? Because
Yeah. I
sometime
think.
Amazon is the only way to get something same day,
Oh, we live
which makes me
with
very
Amazon.
sad.
I'll be honest. 99% of what comes in this house comes from Amazon.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is for a few reasons. One, where
Mhm.
we live is chaos, and then there's nothing close by. We literally have to drive like half an hour just to get to a store. Besides Walmart, which Walmart
Right.
again, yeah. What's the point?
That's another.
Yeah, and we do shop at Walmart a lot because it is literally the only store.
That's close by.
Yeah, yeah, and you know that because
Mhm.
you come to our house, you know where we live, so you understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Now
Yeah.
the pros and cons of our circumstances, they are building around us like crazy. Eventually, there will be plenty of stores, but of course, that all starts with
Absolutely.
the big box stores, and then
Yep.
little stores will come over
Right.
time, hopefully.
Yeah.
So when we have the chance, we do the same as you. But to be fair, I think that a lot of people that are very pro all of this tariff stuff that are happening would say, why should I don't agree with what I'm about to say. And I just want to say that up front. But
There's your
why should
disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it's an important one, but I want to respect perspectives at the same time. Why should I shop at a local shop like that one if we know that they're still importing everything? How do I support local truly if the local shop is importing everything? And so I that's a multi-day conversation in itself, but I at least want to acknowledge that perspective and that thinking.
Right,
And I
right.
do understand, but um if you had a store that was true local made stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then the price would just
Yeah.
suddenly that would be the store for rich people, you know?
Well, I was gonna say, isn't that the reason why people get so upset, like when they go to Etsy and they want something handmade
I
and
was
they're like,
literally
why is
about to
it so
bring up Etsy.
expensive? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's because it is handcraft. Like, this is a person making this custom thing for you. Like,
I'm
that
gonna go
was
to
the
Etsy right
whole
now.
premise of Etsy. And by the way, I just to like really sneak this in here, I skipped the very last slide, and I just wanted to acknowledge that Paper and Pencil is based in Chicago. It's in the Andersonville neighborhood on Chicago's far north side. So if you want to support them and you live in that area, or you're near the area, go visit Paper and Pencil because Tyler is phenom.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like such a
Just
great place.
wanted to point that out.
I think he unfriended me because we used to be Facebook friends. So I just sent him a new friend request. I don't know why.
Or Facebook could have unfriended you, because that's happened to me before where I'm like, I thought we were Facebook friends. And the other person was like, no, I totally thought we were too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, there's no reason that he would have purposely done that, although I wouldn't blame him. So I just went to Etsy and I'm looking up a custom handmade pen.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something. I don't know what this is. Oh, I think it's like maybe for gun enthusiasts. Bolt action pen. Looks like a bullet. Okay, that's weird. I'm not even gonna click on that. I don't want the algorithm to think I like that. Here's a handmade wooden pen, $15. What are the odds that it's truly handmade in America, though?
Mm.
$15 feels really cheap. Because one of the things I keep hearing about Etsy lately is that it's not really handmade
Anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's definitely become way more commercialized. Like, really, Etsy is more, it's more handmade than Amazon, because Amazon has a marketplace, right? Like, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You can have an Amazon store and sell whatever you want. Etsy, like what created Etsy, or the idea that brought Etsy about, was handcrafted items, but it has since expanded into just a place where you can get custom things. So the custom part is what they're focusing on, not necessarily handcrafted.
Yeah, and I think that's cool. I think
Yeah.
that's really neat. I don't know. I think it's getting harder and harder to know where it was truly created.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a frustration for sure.
Yeah.
I know it is for me. I mean, it's funny because it's really hard to buy things that were truly made here.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm okay with that. I'm not complaining about that, by the way. I have a completely different perspective on that. But that I heard something the other day, and like I'm gonna mess this up so hardcore, and I've been wanting to look it up so that I can save it as a fact checked thing. Or in other words, I want to get my source, and I keep meaning to get my source because I was listening to audio.
Yeah.
countries that are do the majority of the importing are the wealthier countries versus the
Sure.
countries who are doing the exporting. So you
Mhm.
want to be a country that imports at a higher rate because that means you have a higher wealth. And I think that's interesting. And it makes a lot of sense. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's fascinating stuff. Far more interesting than all the stupid shit I'm dealing with. Um, but
Okay.
well, it really is. I mean, like, okay, yesterday my world collapsed for me
Yeah.
because the visit site button disappeared on my pins in Pinterest.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh God. It was so bad. It was such a disaster. And not just
Yeah.
me, everybody, so many people went through it, and I was just devastated. I
Yeah.
ate a bunch of chocolate last night and had some wine, and I felt better. And anyway, I woke up this morning, and this was such a serious thing that I literally got on my knees and prayed.
Yeah.
And I woke up this morning, and my visit site button was back.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you don't know what happened or
I think everybody panicked and emailed Pinterest like massively, and they fixed it. It's the only thing I
Okay.
got. I don't know.
Okay.
Or it's a
Well, as
glitch that's
long
going
as
to
it
go
was
away again.
fixed, right?
Yeah. But it is. I was like, well, that's it. We're done. That's the end.
Well,
And
don't say that.
well, that I mean, it was yeah, it was bad. It's bad. Because it's just one thing after another, whether it's like this tariff stuff or simple
Mhm.
things with Google changing or the visit site button. It just feels like the
It's always
stress.
something.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one thing after the other. And that's why
Yeah.
I feel like I talk to other people, and everybody just seems so stressed out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like everybody seems so stressed out too. I mean, me being one of them, I like to lump myself in with everybody else too. I'm like, you're stressed, I'm stressed, we're all stressed.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's stressful. Even if all of this is the best thing that could possibly happen to us as a country, I don't think that. But even if it were true, it doesn't make it any less stressful.
Well, the best case scenario is that this is the best thing that has ever happened to our country, and we just need to be patient.
Hmm.
But the thing with patience, or the thing with being patient, is the United States, there's just such a high percentage of families that are living paycheck to paycheck. They
Hmm.
can't afford the wait,
Yeah.
So, like, all of these fluctuations, all of these price increases, and the wages aren't going up and things like that. Like, it's affecting majority of the people. And when I say majority of the people, like, I mean, look at your neighbor. Like, you may live in a really nice neighborhood with, pricey houses or whatever, but you don't know
That
if
just
your
increases
neighbor,
the stress.
yeah, you don't know if your neighbor is actually living paycheck to paycheck, because they could be.
Yeah. Ooh, my
There's a
stomach is
reason why
growling.
people are considered house poor.
I know I am. I mean, seriously, it's like our house payment has doubled since we moved in this house because of taxes.
Ugh.
Doubled.
Ugh.
Literally. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, me too. And so that's not just my house, that's every house in this damn neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all just look at each other like, how are you doing it? How are you doing that? How are you
Yeah.
making it work? How are you staying here? Lots of houses for sale.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
we have a shortage in our escrow right now, and
oh no.
yeah, so they're like, "Oh, you can either pay the lump sum or we can roll it in or whatever." And then it's like, "Well, I mean, I would love to pay the lump sum, but we also need to replace our roof." So,
You have solar panels, right? So how do
we
you
do
do
have
that
solar panels.
with solar panels?
Hmm?
How do you do that with solar panels?
Well, they need to be removed. and then
Okay.
stored while the roof is being replaced and then reinstalled. So that's
Okay.
it's a whole other level of drama for us in particular, because the company that we purchased the solar from was bought out by ADT Solar. And then ADT Solar bounced from Texas. Or no, they bounced from existence.
Oh,
ADT
wow.
Solar does not exist anymore.
Okay.
But the thing is,
Interesting.
our contract says that our panels they're guaranteed and warranted for 25 years. Yeah, for 25 years, as long as we have, and the contract is very specific about it, like the original, whatever, the original people that installed our panels, the certified ones, they have to be the ones to remove it and then reinstall it in order to maintain our warranty. And we're like, well, what happens now that the
What?
company doesn't even exist? Like, it wasn't bought out. ADT Solar did not sell to another company. They just dissolved.
So what does happen in a circumstance like that?
That's a really good question. There's a lot of roofing companies that say they specialize in solar and that they have the skills and, coverage to be able to do it. But what we're concerned about is we don't want to lose our guarantee, because the guarantee on our panels is if it goes below, like if production goes below, I think it's like 85% or whatever during the 20-year lifetime or 25-year lifetime, they will repair, fix, replace, whatever it is. Like, they're guaranteeing our panels um, to not go below 85% production in the 20 or 25 years. I can't remember now which one it is. But we don't want to lose that.
Yeah, but who would honor that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So I actually I need to reach out because our panels are LG. So I need to reach
I
out
thought
to
you were going to say
LG.
LGBT, and I'm like, really? Okay.
No, LG Electronics.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, and that's the other thing. When we were originally looking at solar panels, one of the companies that we had come out to give us a quote, they were cheaper, but also the brand was like this. I had never heard of the brand before, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about, you know, a not to say a no-name brand, but a brand that isn't well recognized. Because what
Hmm.
happens if, in like we're in now, what happens if they go out of business? So the solar company we ended up going with, their panels are LG. And so I was like,
Yeah.
well, LG, we know what LG is. They've been around a long time.
This is why I haven't considered this yet. I feel like it's still on as a model on shaky ground. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
haven't.
Well, and especially in Texas, it's definitely been a struggle, because yes, our electric bill has been low to non-existent,
Yeah.
which is great, right? Um, but also now we are stuck in this situation where the original installers were bought out by ADT Solar, and then ADT Solar was around for maybe a year or two, or I'm
Hmm.
sure it was longer than that. But they were around, and then now they're like completely gone, because we've reached out to ADT and they were
Yeah.
like, sorry, that division doesn't exist anymore. Like, we know nothing about it.
Wow. That sucks.
And these
This
roofing
has been
companies,
a bummer
they
of an
will,
episode.
yeah, the roofing companies, they will charge to remove and reinstall it. Um, but it just adds to the cost of replacing our roof.
I'm sure.
When
Yeah.
when originally it should have been covered by the initial installation company, because that was part of like what appealed to us too, is that they will do one removal and reinstallation for free during like the first 10 years or something like that.
Yeah. And if companies like that can make promises like that and then just go out of business, it really, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So we are still trying to figure out our options because home ownership is not for the faint heart.
No, God, I know. Oh, it's true.
And speaking of which, if you are in the Houston area and you're looking for
Right?
you're looking to buy or sell a home or rent, reach out to me. I am a licensed real estate agent in Texas.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I honestly forget. Yeah.
Yep. So that's my
Okay.
shameless plug.
Mm. Well, anything else we should cover?
No, because I feel like we covered our weird, we covered our politics, we covered business.
Mhm.
Like we covered our three topics. So
We sure did. We sure did.
yeah.
Okay.
And some of them, the conversation covered all of that in one go.
When I opened up Facebook to share Tyler's post, I saw the live post
Oh,
for our show, and the screenshot that seems to always catch, first of all, it's always the worst. I sat here and smiled and smiled and smiled, but the thumbnail was still like the worst version of my face it could ever be.
what is it?
And
I'm like, I need to see it.
and then you, oh, it's so funny. You're like, looks like you're yelling.
Well, always.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, all right.
Where's the see, I hate
You don't see it? It's on our page.
No, I know it's on the page, but like I'm back on my profile, and like usually I get a notification saying that somebody tagged me, and do I want to add it to
It never
my
shows up for me. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's missing for me now, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't either. But
Like,
okay.
why did Facebook change that?
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay, review. Where's my I just want to review. If anybody can tell me the easiest way to review the post you're tagged in instead of like going all the way into settings and then activity log and all
Yeah,
that kind
I
of
don't
stuff.
know. I couldn't find it. I just
Like,
went to the
please let me
page
know.
and shared it because I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, the thumbnail that I see is just our logo.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mhm.
interesting. Okay, go to my Facebook.
Okay, I'm going to you.
And if you don't see it, then I'll share my screen. Because I just shared it. I think.
Yeah, no, it's just our logo.
Really? All right, hold on. Let me share screens. Do you see that? I think I look like I'm taking a dump or something.
Oh my gosh.
You're like,
it does look like I'm yelling.
yeah, I know.
I mean, once again, valid.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
So funny. So good.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. It looks like that all the time for me. I'm always like, my God, people must think, first of all, do I ever look at the camera? And and the answer is no, because it's way up there.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's pretty funny stuff.
Too good. I love it.
And with that, we're out. See you later, guys.
Yes. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys later.